Hey guys, it's Opa, and we are at the Udvar-Hazy Air and Space Museum. We are in Leesburg, Virginia. Right behind me is an aerial sculpture that they have here, which is absolutely gorgeous, but we're going to go check this place out. So guys, this place actually has an IMAX, and they have a control tower. Oma and I are going to head up to the tower, and we're going to check it out. You can actually see Dulles Field, because we're on one side of Dulles Field, and that's where they bring all the aircraft in. And we're going to go look at it from up top in the tower, and then we'll get back to you. Let's go check it out. So guys, we are standing up in the tower at the museum. We're looking at the control tower that's directly due north from us, and there's a plane coming in. That's Dulles Field, off in this direction right here. This is going to be cool stuff. So this is the Boeing Aviation Hangar. There is one main hangar that goes basically north and south, and then we have an east-west hangar in front of us. We are going to head towards the observation area here in a second, and we're going to take a look. But if you look to your right, we have airplanes and helicopters. We have airplanes right in front of us here. And as we go forward, we have one of the best pictures that you can take anywhere in any museum. You have an SR-71 that's right in front of you, and straight back is a Space Shuttle Discovery. So we're standing in front of an AH-1 Cobra gunship. This bad boy has been designed in the early 70s, actually late 60s, early 70s. And what they did is they developed it from a Huey helicopter, narrowed the body, put missile racks on it, has a tandem front and back seat. The really cool part about this particular aircraft is, besides me being a helicopter pilot, is I got to ride in a nose cone with one of these back at the Dayton Air Show a year or two back. This beast flies like nobody's business. You gotta try it out. If you can get to an air show and you can get to fly with the Army Heritage Group, get to sit right up in here, it's a ride you'll never forget. So we are standing in front of an SR-71 Blackbird, which is directly behind me. I believe it was the second Transformers movie that this guy was the star of the show. He became an older Decepticon. The really cool part is they did that here in this museum. Now, what's really awesome is that we're going to come around this way, and if you can see, there's a big giant door right behind me. That's the door where they walk out of here with the Decepticon, and they wind up actually out in Arizona at an airfield. It's a real neat way, a trick of how they did that. And what I think is really cool is that this whole museum was involved with a Transformers movie. How awesome is that? Behind me, we have the FA-18 Hornet. This particular one is set up in the Blue Angels color scheme. This is pilot number 1, so it would be primarily your commander. And we have her sitting here in the middle of the other aircraft, because there's a F-14 on the other side. We've got a helicopter over the top of her. But this summer, we're going to get a couple shots with the F-14 or with the F-18s, and also with the F-16s, because we're going to go see not only the Blue Angels, but we're going to go see the Thunderbirds as well, and we'll have all that for you here on the channel. This is an XR-4. It is a U.S. Army model that they actually broke it down so you can see on the inside. We have the engine right here, right behind the pilots. The fuel is back behind the front wheels, and then we have the tail rotor transmission goes back through here. It's kind of a neat way to see it, because a lot of people don't understand what's going on inside a helicopter. This is the gondola of the Goodyear airship Columbia. Back when Opa was very little, his mom took him to the airfield to actually check out this thing. It didn't have the cameras on board, but I always remember they have a picture all the way in the back of it that you can barely see here, that it was pictures of a hot air balloon. And it was really cool to see a giant hot air balloon as a kid. It probably led me into I wanted to fly everything. But yeah, thanks, Mom. Hey guys, Opa is a nerd for aircraft, and I even like cartoons. Behind me is none other than Dusty Crop Hopper. It's an AT-400. It is basically a crop duster, and they made her up to look just like one of my favorite pals, Dusty Crop Hopper. So you got to get here and check them out. We're going to walk forward a little bit here and see if we can't see it, but it looks like they have the eyes on board. So you can see his eyes up above me here, and You can see he's got his markings for when he landed on the aircraft carrier and became a Navy pilot as well. So there you go. You got Dusty Crofthopper. This is a Robinson R-44. I spent a lot of time in these. At some point in time, if you ever get a chance to sit down and talk to me, I'll tell you the story about flying one of these from York, Pennsylvania to Key West. We used to do up and downs out at the beach where we take off on a pier and take people for rides in these. It's a good old R-44. We've got stories to tell from this bird. One of the neater parts about coming to this specific museum is that they have aircraft that are literally running in the middle of being rebuilt and restored. So you get to see aircraft without tails or without wings, and they'll have this one rebuilt in no time, I'm sure, because these guys are immaculate about it and they're really good. This is a Bud Light Laser 200. It was flown by Leo Laudenschlager. This aircraft is actually called Beautiful Obsession. Got to see this guy fly back in the late 80s, and he was something else. This will give you a little bit of an idea how big the Concorde actually is. I'm standing up on a third story of this place, and there's your Concorde. One of the major aircraft that they have here that is the star of the show per se is none other than the Enola Gay. She is actually involved with the bombing of Japan in the end of World War II and dropped the first nuclear payload. The interesting part about this aircraft is there's a second one that is actually at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base that you can see, and it's her sister ship. One of the special aspects of being at this particular museum is this is where they actually redo all their aircraft. So right now we're looking at various aircraft and various forms of them rebuilding them and bringing them up to spec so that they can get them out on display. They have a huge facility here for this. This is the nose of the Space Shuttle Discovery. One of three that are still around. We lost Challenger, we lost Columbia. We have Discovery, we have Atlantis, and Endeavour. And it's really cool to be able to sit back and just look at one of these things and figure out it went to space, it kept people alive, brought them back home safe. It's a cool machine. So directly behind me is one of the space labs. They would put this in the back of the space shuttle, which is on the other side of me over here. And they could do space lab experiments that they could bring back. In order to get in and out of that space lab, off to my right here, and I'll come over this way a little bit to make it easier to see, they had to attach this inside to the shuttle. They climbed up through it, and then they wound up in there. So it's like an airlock system to make sure they could get into it. They could carry all kinds of experiments, be up there for 7 to 10 days, bring them back, and know exactly what happened in low gravity, zero gravity, that is in low Earth orbit, of what the space shuttle lived in. So yeah, this thing, if you can get an idea, you could take a look behind me. It's huge. If you guys remember the movie The Martian, this is what they used to communicate with the tower at the top here, with the eyes, and he put the pictures all the way around. Mm-hmm. This would be Pathfinder, and so with the Sojourner rover on board. Any of you remember the movie from the 70s, which was Close Encounters of the Third Kind? They actually have the ship here. It is built with lots and lots of model parts. And supposedly somewhere on here, there is an R2-D2 that is right here as an homage to other Spielberg movies and Lucasfilm movies. So there is an actual R2-D2 that they put on here because nobody would have ever saw this during the movie. And this was the mothership from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So, Oma, what was your favorite part of today?
Just actually walking around, checking everything out. It's wonderful. The people around here, they're fantastic, they're knowledgeable, and all you got to do is just walk around and look at stuff. There's just so much to see and so much to do.
So, we're going to conclude today's video standing in the middle of America's hangar. This place has a lot of opportunities that you're not going to see in downtown DC, but you will see it here in Leesburg, Virginia. This place is amazing. It's the Stephen Udvar-Hazy Air and Space Museum, and it is a part of the Smithsonian. This is where you're going to see the big planes. This is where you're going to see the big shuttles. This is the place to come to. It's a little bit out of the way from DC, but you know what? It's worth the trip. We come down all the way from Pennsylvania to come down here, and it takes us almost 2 hours to get here, and we have a blast here. So get down here, come and visit it, check this place out. Like I always tell you guys, do good, be good. We love you. From Opa's World, see you later.